Welcome guys. So we are continuing on the PHP and web development installation tutorials. So in the last couple of videos we installed XAMPP. Now some of you emailed me saying that there were some problems you faced, and also some of the other things we want you to cover. Now XAMPP is it's a good set of software. It has a lot of stuff, so it's important for you to sort of understand. So in this video I will go deep into XAMPP, or showing different files, and also we'll do a MySQL test. So to start with, this is my installation directory. Now as you see, I have two XAMPP, and that's because as it shows source directory as XAMPP. So it created a new directory. But anyway, when you install it, you just enter C drive when it asks for installation. Now if you open the file, you will see a few files which has to do with Apache start stop, MySQL start stop, and you have this control. So if you want to start the control panel, you can do start programs, but also you can double click that. So it says already it's running because I already am running the XAMPP. So XAMPP control panel looks like this. Now when you start it, I would suggest that don't run it as a service, because if you start it without a service, then you know that it is running, and then you can stop it. Sometimes when you run as a service, it runs in the background, and then you might want to forget stopping it, because there is no reason to run this as service forever if you're not really you're running the programs, or you're trying out different programs. Why do you want to have the service running forever, and it will consume system resources? But anyway, this is an individual preference. But what I was trying to say is that the things which you would not normally need all the time running your machine, you should not be using it as a service. So if you're just programming or testing these programs, web programs, running programs, maybe a couple of hours a day, what you should do is that you just start this program Apache. So it'll have running here. Now what it internally does is that it runs this program called Apache start.bat. So instead of doing that, what you can do is you can also start this, and when you start that, you will get a command or the black box like this, which is basically a DOS panel. So Apache is started. So now if you go here, this is our program test.php, and let me show you what is in test.php. So in test.php I have some MySQL stuff which you can probably not work because MySQL you haven't started it. So if you refresh this page, you'll get an error of probably MySQL. See, it's MySQL test, it says it cannot connect, but see, it has run the first program fine, because this is our first program. So this line was printed fine, because even though this part fails, which it cannot connect, but at least this part of the program runs fine. Just to prove you, so if you change the text and you will refresh the page, you'll see first and fine program. So now let's go ahead and start the MySQL. So we'll go back to the, now here we can start the MySQL from here. You'll get it running, or you can start also from here, MySQL start. So let's start from here. So when you start it, you'll get similar things. Now we started, oops, looks like we started the wrong thing. So let me close this. So we start in by mistake we started my Mercury. So you should start this MySQL start.bat. Again, you can start from here. So the moment you start from here, so if you refresh it, okay, we don't want this to run. Um, so let's run. So if you click on here MySQL start, you will see it's running. It shows up as running here. So the difference of running from double clicking file is that you will get a, so when you run from here you'll get a panel like this. So the advantage is that if you let's say you did programming for maybe a couple of hours and then you go, if this one you have running, that you always know that something is running, so that you can end it. So you just click on this one, or start from, you can also come here and double click on MySQL stop, which will stop it. So if you see MySQL, we just clicked on start, and if you stop it, then you will get a connection, like you'll get a DOS prompt like this. It has stopped. So anyways, I personally prefer running it like this because I want to know sort of what is running on my machine. Um, so let's go ahead and start the MySQL start. So it has started, and you will see here also in the control panel it's running. And then if you go here, and then you'll see the MySQL. So what it does is that if you see our sample program, so we connect to a MySQL database. So by default, XAMPP creates a MySQL database with root. The username password is root, and the password is blank. And then there is a DB called test. And what we did is that we created an employee table, and then we have some PHP code to go through the to loop through the table and retrieve the rows. Now, if you're not familiar with PHP or MySQL, please see my other tutorials on how to connect to MySQL from PHP and etc. etc. But I'll not go through this part of it right now because I have already some other videos on that. But as hopefully this gives you an idea of how to use the XAMPP and connect the videos. I'm sorry, connect to the table. So let's go back to our thing here. So we have pretty much covered the basic part, and you probably have a good idea about XAMPP now. Now we'll go over the advanced part. So I'll start that from our next video. Thank you.